Welcome to the New Mexico Foundation for Open Government annual Your Right to Know lunch. Thanks for joining us today as FOG celebrates its 25th anniversary, advocating for transparency in government. Today, we honor 4 individuals with the William S. Dixon First Amendment Award. But we also want to pay tribute to FOG's founders and the 48 previous Dixon awardees. In the late 80s, a group of journalists and lawyers joined forces to strengthen our state's sunshine laws, not just to protect the interests of the press, but to benefit all New Mexicans.
Well, at the time there was a general frustration with the lack of transparency and the lack of access to many kinds of public records that we take for granted today. But the specific event involved a legislative hearing where Bob Johnson, our first executive director, and myself and Don Flores from the Santa Fe New Mexican went up and testified on a sunshine bill. It would be an understatement to say that we did not get a warm reception. And in fact, one legislator looked at us and said, the public just doesn't care about this. Nobody cares about this stuff but you people in the media. You're a special interest group. The public has no interest in this. And we walked out of the hearing and just kind of looked at each other, and even we were stunned by that, by just the outright statement and dismissal of this. And we basically said, you know, we need to recruit the public. We need to give them an organization in which the public has a stake in access to government information and the First Amendment. And that's really how FOG began.
The First Amendment is central to our democracy, and it's at the root of FOG's work, too.
The First Amendment has acute significance for any constitutional democracy for 2 reasons. Number one, it creates a barrier against government from prohibiting the press from printing information which the press already has in its possession. Classic case being the Pentagon Papers, where the assumption behind the First Amendment is that we do not trust the government to ration or allocate information throughout our society. We trust the people, and the press is a surrogate for the people. But it has another function, the right to acquire information. That is, it means very little, and indeed is a hollow right, to be able to publish when you don't have anything worthwhile publishing. And I think Madison put this most articulately during the Constitutional Convention. A public citizenry without public information or the means to acquire it is a prologue to farce or tragedy or both. And so one of the major battles under the First Amendment has been the burgeoning or the growing right to be able to acquire information that is meaningful to discussion of public issues.
Additionally, FOG is committed to remaining independent and nonpartisan.
I think that one of the most important attributes that FOG has had all along has been its credibility of being bipartisan. Transparency plays a major role in government, because I think step one in government, especially at this stage now, is trust. And I think that without having that trust, which is then many times fueled and supplied by transparency, people will have a better feeling about what's going on in their state government.
FOG has been instrumental in shaping sunshine laws in New Mexico, both in the legislature and the courts. For the past 25 years, FOG has shown that sunshine is essential for growing our state's economy, too.
Business needs to be involved in open government because it's the right thing to do in the state of New Mexico, and it also creates a partnership for business in a very relevant way. Economic development in the state of New Mexico, and especially as we move forward, will involve more public-private partnerships, because neither one of us can grow this economy in New Mexico on our own. So as we move forward, job creation will be much more dependent on how effective and how well we can bring together public and private sector partnerships. Those partnerships are only going to succeed within an open, transparent government.
Still, our transparency laws are constantly under attack, and we need your ongoing support. Donate or join FOG to defend your right to know.
There's an attempt to place a tax, if you will, on what belongs to the public, and we should make, and we're going to have to decide as policymakers that we can't put a price on freedom.
As far as the question of this push to generate revenue to recover costs from journalists and members of the public who are trying to exercise their rights under the Inspection of Public Records Act, I think the question has been presented in the wrong way. People in government have tried to present this question as complying with these requests is an additional burden and an additional cost to the taxpayers. But I think the real question is, why should this be any different than any other essential function that government performs? We don't charge people when they call 911. We don't charge people when they ask APD to come out and do a police report on a burglary. I think that we should, and our policymakers should, look at public records compliance in the same way that they look at other essential functions of government. Because, to quote Bill Dixon, if you don't have access to that information, First Amendment rights are hollow.
The more sunshine we have on all of our public and private sector partnerships, the better the decisions and the better the government. And that creates a New Mexico that's better for the people who live in it.